Hi, I'm Paul Rawlings, and welcome to the second part of this three-part series, 2012, the prediction, the prophecy, and the possibilities. Each part in the series is designed to address a specific aspect of the 2012 prophecy. In part one, we began with the prediction, what it was based upon, and who said what. In this part two, we'll take a look at the energy and discuss how it challenges our ego-based beliefs. 2012, the prophecy. We are all individuals in an egocentric sense. The ego relies on this to flourish. The ego tells us that we are all the center and everything else revolves around us, which sounds pretty silly when you say it out loud. But just watch the daily news for proof of the ego in action, and not always in a good way. For example, remember the lady in the department store this past holiday season? She sprayed shoppers to assure that she would be the first one to get whatever was being offered at some bargain price. Yes, there's the old ego in action. We all let ego lead us in some level and are quick to justify our own actions as being different from everybody else's, but they're really not. As a matter of fact, that surge you just felt is your ego in action saying stand and defend. If we remove ego and simply look at ourselves as energy, then we quickly realize we are all energy in the same universe. Each of us a part of the greater whole. So right, that lady who sprayed the mace on the shoppers, the guy who cut you off on the way to work, and yourself, all cut from the same energy. This energy also exists outside the human realm in a vast array of other forms. Energies are provided in numerous ways, many critical to our very existence. Water, air, sunlight, even gravity. All energies are designed to complement one another and assure a harmonic balance. Starting to feel a little worried? Well, good, but let's go on. Look at the universe as a fabric, a blanket of white light, and each of us is a thread in that fabric. Every living element is a thread in the fabric, and what we know as love is the weave that keeps this fabric together. Earth itself is in dire straits. Its energy and purpose was simply to sustain life and allow us to flourish, and we've thanked her by polluting her water, air, and put scars upon this pristine landscape, all in the name of progress. Left to our own accord, the future of Earth seems pretty bleak, and that's just one element of the energy, one small corner of this infinite blanket. The fabric is unraveling, threads are broken, and tears are forming. Our blanket is stained from centuries of spilled from careless concern. So do we throw out the blanket, try and patch the tears, see if we can use some magic stain remover and call it good? Hold that thought. Let's move the conversation back to the energy and look at two examples of human energy that originate from the same cup we all drink from. Yesterday, a 6-year-old boy in a small isolated village in Africa loaded leather pouches on his back and made a 2-hour trek to a distant watering hole. He fills these pouches that weigh almost as much as he does and headed home. He's very familiar with this process and knows the way to and from the watering hole. He's done this task 3 days a week for close to a year now. He's the only one in his family well enough to make the journey. Others are either weak or bedridden. As he left the hut where his family lives, his mother said a silent prayer for his safe return because there are lions that roam the watering hole and sleep under the shade trees close by the water's edge. The trip is made at the hottest part of the day where temperatures easily reach over 100 degrees. The boy gives thanks and approaches the water's edge because it had rained for 2 days prior and there's an abundance of water within reach. As he left, he picked up a stick to help steady himself under the heavy load of the water-filled pouches, and as he sets off for home, he laughs and makes shadow shapes in the hot sand in front of him. He laughs out loud as several shadows reminded him of the animals. Back at the hut, the precious water was added to ground corn and rice and cooked over a small open flame, providing the only meal that the family will eat that day. As his mother gives him a small bowl of food, he looked over at his younger sister, and after taking a few mouthfuls, he put the rest of the food in her bowl. She's been sick and he knows the nutrition will help her get better. He falls asleep after playing a few minutes of peekaboo with his younger sister. They both were laughing and giggling, and as he drifts off to sleep, he's thankful that his sister is doing better and that he won't have to make the trip to the watering hole again tomorrow. So his list of chores will be one less. As he closes his eyes, he looks out of the hut and lifts his head from the dirt floor. He looks at a spectacular sunset and smiles when he sees all the variation of orange, his favorite color. Yeah, this is a true story. On the other side of a world, in a country very foreign to the African boy, a man sits at a table at his local coffee shop, drinking his favorite flavored latte, and scowling at the barista that made his coffee. It seems today the frothed milk topping is a little weak and, in his opinion, doesn't have the same consistency that he prefers. He gets up and complains about the drink, which he has now handed back, and as another is made for him, he looks at his watch, infuriated that he has to take this one in a to-go cup so he can make his tee-off time at the local golf course. He complains to his golfing partner about how this day started out badly and is just getting worse as he watches his tee shot sliced to the right. He throws down his club in disgust and yells at the caddy to get them the golf cart. For the remainder of this game, you see the temperature's 80 degrees and it's 150 yards to the next hole. Leaving the golf course after a hot shower and a few drinks, he pulls into his local car wash to have them do a quick clean and shine on his new wheels. "Do a good job this time," he says. As he works later into a business meeting, he blurts out for all to hear, "You can't believe the day that I've had." He falls asleep that evening, still annoyed with his perceived incompetence of the world around him. And as he drifts off, he mutters something derogatory about the homeless person who bugged him at the traffic light. Yes, this also is a true story. So you decide, regardless of the circumstance, who adds positively to the universal energy and who poisons it. Add yourself into this mix and decide what type of energy you put into the universe each day, where you sit on the continuum. And take out the justification of why we do what we do, because it is clear that the justification of bad behavior is nothing more than an excuse for us to create bad energy. Recognize that the universe only absorbs the energy, not the excuse.